Welcome to another episode of Sitting with Shay J, where we explore impact and we inspire change. Well, I'm your host, Shay J, and it's February, so we'll be shining a light on Black excellence right here in our community. I don't know if you checked out last week's episode, but it's not too late. Head on over to 9 News Plus and take a look. Now, as a part of our Black History series, this week's guest is a true powerhouse, a trailblazer, and a dedicated advocate for justice and equity. Welcome the president of Denver NAACP's, Sondra Young. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited to have you here and celebrate Black History Month with you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here to celebrate with you.
Yes, this is an amazing part. Sondra, you have done an immense amount of work right here in our community. As a Black leader, we absolutely salute what you've been doing throughout history. We're watching these things move along. And I'm curious about your personal journey. As a Black woman leading the Denver NAACP, can you tell me, what is your perspective on the unique challenges that presents? And how do you navigate those challenges in leadership?
I think just not the NAACP, but anytime Black women are leading, it's always a challenge to get people to stand behind you, to push you, to go forward. And so this is a particular difficult situation because we do social justice.
Yeah.
And so people look at social justice as you're coming to chop them up, right? And we're really there to embrace. And we're really there to talk about equity and equality and how we are embracing. But what's important in this job is that we make moves, right? And we make metrics that make a difference. And so some of the things that we look at is how do we really impact?
Right.
And to be impactful sometimes, excuse me, it's about getting the funding that you need to impact. And I think that any of us that are sitting on our couches or wherever are saying if you're in any nonprofit space right now, it's just hard to find funding.
That's real.
Because there's so much going on that needs our attention. And so when we look at funding to make sure that our kids have something to do this summer, it's kind of heavy on my heart because we need to make sure our kids can read, and we need to make sure our kids can write, and our kids can do math, and our kids have a place to lodge and to land, right? Yeah. And so right now, we're not having that. So I think those are the challenges that keep you up at night, things that you can't help that you want to help.
Right.
And so those are the things that you ponder in your mind, like if I sell my left shoe, can I get some money to help these kids over here? And so you're constantly thinking, how do I get funding to help to address the issues that really impact our community?
No, that's huge. I'm watching a community with so many things going on. Like you said, there's a lot of things that need attention, but funding is one of the number one things. We need funding to make sure it happens. How do you see your role in preserving and really advancing the legacy of being a Black leader right here in Colorado and paving the way in justice? How do you see yourself making that a long-term thing?
I think I read a proverb the other day that said the young will go fast, but the old will know the path. And so I think just moving the sticks that people have done for us, the shoulders that we stand on, they move the sticks so we can walk this path. And so it's now our turn to move those sticks too, so they can continue to walk and find their path, right?
That's what leadership looks like. When I think about leadership, I'm always saying, how do we make something a little bit more tangible for someone coming behind us, right? How do we open up the door a little bit wider? How do we kick it down? How do we do that? I'm loving the impact that you're having right here in Colorado. With you being specific to Colorado, when we think about initiatives and changes that you would like to see to make maybe Colorado feel a little bit more inclusive, what would some of those changes look like?
Well, I think from the boardroom to the classroom, right? It's such a wide opening that we have not tapped. When you look at Black women, and just Black people in general, being in the boardroom, being in the C-suite, you just don't see that, right? When you look at the classroom, when you see Black kids, they just don't have the opportunity to have Black teachers. And when you look at the surgery room, when you look at the courtroom, we're just not there in those positions of power. And it's not because we're not smart. It's because opportunity sometimes does not present us, It's not about affirmative action. It's about opportunity.
That's good.
And so we have not had that opportunity to be in those spaces. We know what we're doing. We built pyramids in Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
We started the hieroglyphic writing. We know what we're doing. We just don't have the opportunity. And so our job right now, as where we are, even where you're sitting, is to really kick those doors open, like you said, and show kids this is an opportunity that you can step into and not be afraid to do that. We have to be bold with our decisions on making change. And often we get we get pushed down and then we don't want to spring back up. But as you push yourself down, they said there was dirt. Every time they throw some dirt on you, pack it down and build yourself up, right? So then you're out the hole. And I think that's what's important for our kids to see.
That's what we absolutely need. When I think about change, I think about being bold. What you said really resonates with me, right?
Yeah.
We have to be able to see that we can do it. And when someone gets in a position like you of power and leadership, we have to use these opportunities to really make systemic changes. I love to see that. This is such a different landscape right now in Colorado. With this ever-changing landscape, with the needs of Colorado, when you start to look at these needs in the community, how do you navigate Colorado being different? It's not as urban as some of the other places, you know, where NAACP is. Yeah. It's a little bit different in that space. How do you navigate that and make that work for you?
I'm not going to fib.
Okay. Don't tell any lies.
No lies defined here. Okay. It's very difficult sometimes because we don't live in a place where we're only 4% in Colorado, 4% Black people. And so we can't look at doing this work with just Black people.
Yes.
It takes allies, right? And so if we go back to the beginning of NAACP in 1909, it was started by white allies because we needed their help. You know, we were coming out of the race war of Springfield, Illinois, and we had so many lynchings going on and so much lynchings across the country. And so it took somebody else that didn't look like us sometime to open the door. And so being an ally has got to be a big deal.
Yeah.
We need activists along with the allyship, right? We just don't need you to sing Kumbaya and put a sign in your window that say Black Lives Matter. We need you to go to the forefront with us. And so we realize that now that we can't move this by ourselves in a city that only has 4%. We need everyone's help to join us to do this.
See, viewers, this is why we have these conversations. We need your help to do this. It's not a one-person show. You're absolutely right. It's everybody has a position. I love to say that, like, my position may not be your position, and the next person's position may not be either of our positions, but everybody has a space. When I look at all the work you're doing, I'm so proud to see that the changes that you've made and the work that you're doing. What is something that you're most proud of that you have done with the Denver NAACP as an initiative or as an assignment? What are one of those things that you want to put like a bow on, a highlight on?
I think I want to highlight just the fact that in 2020, we were able to get 1,000 new voters.
Whoa.
And so that's something as we come into this voting year of 2024 that we're looking to do again. This year we plan to do it a little differently. We plan to go to college campuses, to every college campus, and get kids to register to vote. We're not telling you who to vote for, but we're saying that you need to be registered to vote, because what happens is when you don't vote municipal for what's around you, that's where the problem happens, right? And you get taxes that you're not used to, and there's so many things go on.
Yes.
So we're going to those college campuses and going to those high schools, because at 16 you can register to vote. Now you can't vote till you're 18, but at 16 you can register.
I had no idea.
Oh yes.
I just learned something new.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going around to the high schools, making sure those kids are registered to vote, into the college campuses. And I'm going to put a bow on that, because to get people to register to vote and to look at as Black people coming through this voting act, right, the voting acts, and we still are struggling with that. We need to vote.
Yes.
And so to be able to see our young people get a hold of that and make that happen is very exciting to me.
I love that. I applaud that. I looked at a lot of that work, and I was seeing people that never really thought about voting. They were engaged, and I think that's what it takes. We don't care who you vote for, but make sure you take a part of what is your right, right?
Yes.
It's your right to vote and be a part of that. I often say you can't, say that you don't like something that's happening when you haven't done the work to whatever your part is. Put your vote in, put something in, let them know what you're thinking here. I know we're coming up soon to this Freedom Gala. I'm extremely excited about this. I think this is going to be one of the greatest things that's happening, in Colorado. We need these galas that are actually meaningful. We're talking about 115 years of legacy. This is amazing. Can you please tell me about the Denver NAACP Freedom Fund Gala? What can we expect?
Well, we're so excited, first of all, to be sharing 115 years. And I just would like to say in Denver, we're celebrating 109 years.
Oh,
it began in Denver in 1915, one of the oldest Black organizations in Denver.
I'm impressed.
So all of this is just revolutionizing where we are right now, right? Celebrating 115 years as the oldest Black civil rights organization, and in Denver as the Black oldest civil rights organization here. So we have Kenny Lattimore that's going to be there, Grammy award-winning artist. Very happy to have him.
I like that.
We have Terrell Martin and the C2 Choir, Mass Choir, singing the Black National Anthem.
Yes.
We have some speakers. I don't want to give their names out yet. And we have a special gift this one gave us that we're going to show there. So we are trying to show the spirit of excellence in this, and everything that we do is going to be at the Hyatt across from the convention center. And so we're just excited. That $150, you will get way more than you're paying for, I can tell you that.
I love to see this. I think this is important for people of all ages to really go and celebrate and be a part of this.
Yes.
I wasn't aware that it was 109 years in Colorado.
Yes.
That's impressive, because a lot of times we say, where are these organizations? Are they doing the work? And 109 years means you're doing something right.
Something.
Sondra, with you really being at the forefront of leadership, social justice, advocacy, that's a lot on your plate. What fuels you? What keeps you going?
Well, I come from a family of benevolence, right? My family was really community. My mother was actually the first Black nurse in our county.
Wow.
And so we always were in benevolence, giving back, making sure that people were good. My father actually went to school with Medgar Evers in Jackson, Mississippi. So community is what we were raised on. We were raised when you didn't have an egg, you went next door and got one.
Yeah.
You know, we were just family, right? My mother would bring anyone to our house to eat. And so being raised in benevolence, it's just giving back. It's just natural in me. Me and my sister were just talking. My mother did not care if you like something. She said, you can give it away. The only thing that ever matters in your life is people capital. That's what you can't get back. And so we were raised to be like that. Whatever you have, you'll get again. But people, you will never get them again. And how you impress them and impact them the first time that you meet them is how they will forever remember you. And so I don't know anything else but that. But to be that person and to work out of that spirit of my mom and to really bring people in. And so I always tell the group, as I used to always say, this is just not good work, this is God work. And this is because it's embracive, it's encouraging, it's loving. And that's the work that we do. And so that's what fuels me every night, to say the next day I have to do more.
The next day I have to do more.
Yeah.
And you keep doing more, and you keep showing up. And I think this is why it's so important that we don't just highlight these things during Black History Month, but we have these conversations all the time, because there's so much that goes into that. And like you said, the people capital is what really matters. And if you can touch one person, you never know who else you could touch. So I hope you share this with someone else, because you never know who we can impact. Reflecting on the past 115 years in the NAACP, and we're looking at these changes and the systematic inequalities. In your opinion, what makes the NAACP such a lasting organization? What makes it have so much impact? And what makes it so effective?
Yeah.
Like 115 years is no joke. That's effective to be around that long.
I think it's the leadership. I think they have been very good at picking the leaders, right? We see Martin Luther King. You know, he started in the youth department of the NAACP. We had Thurgood Marshall that came along and did Brown versus the Board of Education. He did all the civil rights laws. And the voter acts. We've seen so many changes in the leadership that comes along, right? And so we are still looking for those type of leaders, people that are definite on what they want to see happen, making sure there's change. And that's why we need young people. Yeah. Because as young people, they change this whole landscape for us, right? How things look, how we interact. I mean, we can look at the internet now. They're doing so many fabulous things. I'm still trying to learn how to get my Facebook together, and they are doing pictures and they're making Snapchats, and when I call my daughter, I never know what they're going to tell me. They're like, look at the WhatsApp. I'm like, the who app? So I'm like still learning, but these young people are taking us into another dimension that we never knew. Yeah. And it's because that's who they are, right? And like I said before, if you look back to where we come from builders, we come from inventors, right? We come from imaginative people. And these young people are grasping that like we've done in the past, right? And it just moves. And so I think that they're choosing the right people to be in these positions to make movement. And so we just want to keep encouraging young people, keep encouraging all people, because at no age can you stop giving. And no age do you have not something to tell me that brings me something new, right? Exactly. And so I think that's how the NAACP keeps doing this work, is they choose the right people, they have the right mission, they have the right vision, they know where they're going, right? And so they're able to make other people see that.
Yeah.
The growth of that has been phenomenal. And they're just a namesake in community. You know, maybe in Denver when I first came out, like those people were here, we're not big on NAACP, but other parts of the country,
Absolutely.
it's a huge mark. And so we don't want to see this go away. We are very excited about the next step.
Yeah.
The next step is always good.
I love that. That's your call. The people at home that are saying, should I be a part of this? What can I do? This is your call. You can be a part of this as well. Sondra, your influence, your dedication, they have undoubtedly left a mark right here in Colorado, and I know beyond Colorado. I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to you for all the work that you've done, all the work that you're doing in the NAACP and outside of it. Those of you who don't know, you've just witnessed the president of the Denver NAACP, Sondra Young. We are inspired today by the work that you're doing, and I hope somebody at home is inspired to keep on leading, because it's not always easy, but honor the teacher in you, and honor the leader in you, and honor the student in you, because at all times we have to be a different place. So keep honoring those things. Thank you all for watching Sitting with Shay J, and stay connected for more conversations where we explore impact and we inspire change. Go ahead. This is your go-to source for impactful conversations right here in the community. Until next time, keep the conversations going and keep making a difference. We appreciate you for tuning in. It's Sitting with Shay J.